Hello and welcome to the first edition of Fantasy Football Game Day. I'm your host and co-commissioner Alex Borza. We've got a nice slate up coming for us today. For looking forward to week 11 in the Real Fantasy Football League, and so we got some interesting matchups this week. We got me and Adrian Petersons playing against Alex Golden, so Alex versus Alex in the Golden. And then we have the most challenging team, and everyone's most afraid of this team. Ryan Dan's I Love Booby Dixon, and his stacked team full of running backs and DeAndre Hopkins and Drew Brees, facing against a much improved yet still subpar team in Jared Flax's Baby Jeffrey Forever Unclean. Looking forward to the next matchup, we have Black Man is White and Tyler Tingling in what is a very, very heartwarming story of a man who hospitalized, devotes his life to fantasy football against a very underperforming, doesn't really care that much, but he has Tom Brady, Josh Singer, Team Singer's team, hasn't even changed his team name. And lastly, we have the final destination and Max Lichtenfeld, who will be later bringing on the show, facing Black Man, who is tied for first place, has less points at 8-2, has been decimated by injuries with the likes of Jamar Charles going out, Keenan Allen the next week, Deion Lewis the next week. So, as it stands right now, in the first seed, it's I Love Booby Dixon with Ryan Dans. And then second place is Black Man with Rebel, but surely that he should be able to fall. And then we have Black Man is White in third place, and his team is up and coming with Adrian Peterson and Mark Ingram leading the way. Solid running back core. And then me in fourth place. 2 straight wins, 3 straight weeks over 200. Now, I would like to welcome one of the league's owners, owners of Baby Jeffrey Forever Unclean, Jared Flax. Jared, welcome on.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. It's a pleasure.
So, Jared, tough matchup this week. You got Ryan and I Love Boobies. How you feeling about that?
As much as scared as I am, I'm also kind of excited. My team has improved over the last couple weeks since we've made the 4-way trade, and Ryan really got the end of the trade, so I feel a little more comfortable about playing him for the second time this season. My team probably will lose, but it will be a close matchup, I feel.
I love the display of confidence you have in your team. So as most of the people in the league know, you were the trade bait at the beginning of the season, taking advantage of you. I mean, the whole ordeal of Max getting kicked in, getting kicked out. It was pretty much centered around you had no knowledge of fantasy football. So trade the likes of Calvin Johnson away for practically nothing. So far this season, you've really improved and you've really started to care about fantasy football. So explain your feelings about fantasy football now.
After I've made the stupid trades that I have, we made a 4-way trade. I feel I had a good end of it. I think I've earned a more knowledge in fantasy football considering we're in a points per reception league. Noticing that every reception a player gets 1 point, as our league standard is. It's made my knowledge go through as knowing what to do, who to put in my lineup, and noticing who the matchups are, not just projection-wise.
Okay, so as we look at it now, you are 3-7. You are outside shot at making the playoffs, and you're gonna have to go through. As I see here, you're gonna first have to go through Ryan this week, and then you're gonna have to go through Ryan, Max, and Josh. Those are 2 of the lesser teams in the league, yet they could have very good weeks. And
personally, I feel I could beat both of them. Their teams are going downhill since the beginning of the season. Well, Max's has. Josh has always been one of the bottom tier teams. Your team, on the other hand, who I played with last week, is moving up in the rankings, and if I just beat you and Ryan and smooth sail past Josh and Max, I should have a spot in the playoffs, but if I don't have a spot in the playoffs, I will be contending for the Golden Douchebag Trophy, the loser trophy, and I really don't want to win that. I feel it's either going to be Max or Josh winning it, and it'll probably be me or Alex Golden, or maybe even Tyler playing for the top of the losers bracket. But if I don't make the playoffs, I'm just hoping not to win the Golden Douchebag.
As a fellow league member, I really feel like you have gained a respect in fantasy football, and I think the rest of the league can agree. At the beginning of the year, you're like, oh, his team's the worst, even though it's still not very good. His team's the worst. He knows nothing. He's going to put people in who are injured on bye. But I mean, I think that you really started to care about this, and I wish you luck the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming on.
Just to add one more thing, I feel that our draft next year, considering I'm coordinating how it's going to be, will be a kick-ass draft. We are going to pick our draft order at Andretti Speedways on December the 5th of this year, and 7 out of the 8 team members will be there, considering Tyler has an injury.
And when we return, we're going to invite yet another owner onto the show, the owner of the Final Destination, to discuss this season's saga and him being previous commissioner, so stay tuned. And now I am excited to welcome onto the show the owner of Final Destinations, Max Lichtenfeld. Welcome, thanks. Good to see you. Good to see you too. So, Max, I'm just going to put it here. Floor is yours. Explain to me the saga of this season.
Well, I mean, it all started well before the actual NFL season started, and well before our season started. When I decided, as former champion and as, just like I felt like the reign of the Ryan Alex duo commissioners should end. I mean, as former champion. So I decided to form my own league with my friends, and it started up, and it all started off pretty good. We had our draft really early. And just like you would expect, it started, and Jared basically was manhandled. He got trade raped multiple times, as we all expected, with so much time in between our draft and the beginning of the NFL. And one thing led to another, and it was pretty much my turn to trade rape him with a trade. I did it, and people considered it unjust because I was the commissioner, and that turned into you all forming a new league that did not involve me. And it took you about the first 2 weeks of the season. My fantasy knowledge it just had nothing. I was lost. I had nowhere to use this immense amount of knowledge I have for the game, right? So it took you about 2 weeks to crawl back to me, right? You realize you can't have a league without the former champion. You can't have a league without the best player, So I came back, and to lessen my chances of winning, you gave me this team that my good friend Quincy drafted, yet was horrible, injury-ridden, and it had no chance from the start.
Oh, so let's take a look at that team as it stands now. Aaron Rodgers, usually solid quarterback, struggled recently. Frank Gore, pretty underperformed a lot in Indianapolis. Danny Woodhead, solid running back in San Diego, I would think so. 2 Jets receivers, very interesting.
Very interesting.
Marshall.
Well, even more interesting, up until this week, up until a couple of weeks ago, I started 2 Browns running backs.
See, this is what we're talking about.
I had no choice. That's all I had.
Antonio Gates, great first game. Struggled recently. Des Bryant injury killed you.
True.
Devontae Adams has struggled this year.
Very much.
The addition of D'Angelo Williams is the big one for you. But, as your team is now in an 8-team league, this team is just not very strong. But
very strong.
Talk to me about your chances this week, because your opponent is not very strong as Rebel. Injury-ridden. As we take a look at his team, Phillip Rivers facing a good Kansas City defense. Gotta like that matchup. You gotta like that matchup this week.
Of course.
But his running backs got some strong ones in Martin and Miller, but kind of falls down a little bit on the receiver end with Tavon Austin and Jeremy Macklin. So talk to me a little bit about your matchup this week and where you're hoping to go in the future.
Well, Alex, the projections show me when I do get my waiver claim in, because I am top of the waivers right now, being last place. When my waiver comes in for my kicker, and I'll be projected to lose by 11 points, which I believe is definitely not right. My players, I believe, are much better. And, well, let's see. Rebel's team has definitely underperformed this year. I had a couple bad weeks. I'm confident in my picks this year. I'm confident confident in my picks this week because, well, the last 3 weeks I projected that I could have either gotten very close or won the games if I had just made that correct decision, if I just put that extra minute into choosing my lineup. And this week I spent extra time picking it. I watched the Thursday night game. I'm ready. I think I've read the stats. I've read everything. I looked at the matchups. Confident I'm starting the correct players, especially with the amount of buys. So, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate you giving your opinion. And I wish you the best of luck. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next week.
And when we return, we will be taking a caller into the show. And they're going to have the floor to ask some questions to me, and if they want to the other two guys here, so I'll bring them both. Rebel Johannes and the Black Man, as his team name, and he is. So, but it's spelled with a K, not a CK. So, hi, Rebel. So, Rebel, talk to me about your team, because I know your team has been injury-ridden all year, just like a curse.
Well, yeah, I lost Jamal Charles, I lost Keenan Allen, I lost Easton. Yeah, it's been pretty bad all year.
Dion Lewis, I mean, just to add to the names, I mean, you did have a very solid team going, but despite all that, you're 8-2. I mean, you got to be happy with that. You pretty much secured yourself a spot in the playoffs, and also secured yourself not winning the Golden Douchebag.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Okay, so let's talk to you about this week and upcoming. So as it is right now, most of us can agree you're not as strong of a team in the league, yet we can't deny the fact that you are tied for first record-wise, and you're going to be in the playoffs, so you never know. You could string together 2 straight wins. So talk to me about your chances of becoming a 1 seed, and also talk to me about this week's matchup.
This week's matchup, that's pretty easy since Max is a pretty weak team. Yeah, not very good coming. Does grind coming off with an injury. Frank course, that's pretty consistent. But I think my chances of being a 2 seed is probably plenty. I think I'll win out the season other than probably Ryan. I think I can beat Alex more stuff, yeah.
Wow, that's big. I mean, and the funny thing is, Max just came on here and said that he thought your team was weak. So now let's talk to you, because I know you have a lot of opinions based on this league. You form a lot of opinions. You think it's amusing. So talk to me about this league and what it means to you.
Well, I mean, this league is easily the most unfair league I've ever been in. I mean, where do I start? With all tax, all the owners of the league, most of the owners of the team, one of the commissioners, Alex, kept control of the 4 people in the league. So I mean, he wins every single vote, like, no matter what. It's pretty obvious, because, I mean, they're all.
Well, you are entitled to your own opinion. I mean,
Yeah,
I think each vote counts the same. Each vote counts as 1. And, well, it was, I'm glad to have you on the show, and, good luck this week, and I hope that I get to face you in the playoffs, because to be honest, I think I could easily make the championship if I face your team. So, do you want any last things to say before we leave?
Max, you suck at everything, and you should go for yourself.
Okay, thank you. It was nice talking to you, Rebel, and good luck. Bye. Okay, that was Rebel Johannes on the phone there. And when we return, we will finally make our picks for this week and wrap up the first episode of College Game Day, fantasy football style. Stay tuned. Hello, and welcome back to the first episode of Fantasy Football Game Day. Now I am excited to welcome in our guest picker, Mr. Borsa. Welcome on. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And since he's bigger than me, I have to sit in the loser chair. Okay, so we're gonna start out with the first matchup of the week, which is the Adrian Petersons against the Goldens. So I will read you one team, and then I'll read you the other team. You do not know which order they are in. So Team 1 is Carson Palmer, Darren McFadden, DeMarco Murray, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Rob Gronkowski, Danny Amendola, J.J. Watt, the Cardinals defense, and Steven Gostkowski. What's your just a little short analysis on that team?
Very strong team. Lots of depth at the receiver position. The Gronk is having a great year so far, and Carson Palmer has really done very, very well this year as well. The Cardinals are a force to be reckoned with.
Okay, and on a side note, Team B has Blake Bortles, who has already played this week. I do not know if you know how he fared, so just factor it in.
Okay.
Latavius Murray, Antonio Andrews, who as well already played. Demaryius Thomas, Randall Cobb, Jimmy Graham, Stevie Johnson, Brandon LaFell, the Rams defense, and Stephen Hauschka. What's your short analysis on the team, and tell me who you think is going to win?
Considering that team has more no names and really bad players, I would say that the first team is the team to beat this week.
So that would be the Adrian Peterson defeating Team Golden, and I will agree with that pick. Next up, we have Baby Jeffrey, Forever and Clean, and the I Love Booby Dixons. So Team A is Derek Carr, Devontae Freeman, Todd Gurley, Larry Fitzgerald, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Eifert, Jeremy Langford, Justin Forsett, the Eagles defense, and Justin Tucker. What are your thoughts on that team?
There seems to be an echo in the background here, but I could concentrate on anything. Very good nucleus on that team. Lots of depth at running back, and Mr. Carr's really taken over, proven in his second year that he could carry the load over there in Oakland. So, like that team quite a bit, actually.
Okay. And Team B is Andy Dalton, Jonathan Stewart, Chris Ivory, Alshon Jeffrey, Amari Cooper, Jordan Reed, Allen Robinson, T.J. Yeldon, the Seahawks defense, and Nick Novak. What are your thoughts on that team, and who do you think is going to win, Team A or Team B?
Well, that team is a little bit more established. Some of the talent there has been around for a while here in the NFL, and we've seen some good work from them over the past couple of weeks. Before I make my pick, I want to just say I do like boobies too, and so I will go with Team A though.
Okay, that would be the I Love Boobies. And those guys, even though they aren't as established NFL players, they are top tier fantasy players. So next up, we have Team Blank, because I would give away who team it is, and versus Black Man is White. So Team A is we've got Tom Brady, Sharkhandrick West, Giovanni Bernard, T.Y. Hilton, Jarvis Landry, Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz, Jordan Matthews, the Panthers defense, and Matt Bryant. Give some insight.
So any team with Tom Brady as its quarterback really has a strong opportunity to do well because he makes all of the players around him better. And how could you go wrong if a player on your team is named Sharkhandrick? So we'll see what the competition looks like.
Okay, well, the competition is Team B, Cam Newton, Adrian Peterson, Chris Johnson, Emmanuel Sanders, Sammy Watkins, Delaney Walker, who has already played, Michael Crabtree, Rashard Matthews, the Broncos defense, and Blair Walsh.
Well, defense wins championships. That's what they say. So the Broncos defense has been real strong this year. So I'm going to go with Team B in this one. Have to go against Brady on this one.
That would be Black Man is White with Tyler Tingling, who is in our hearts.
Yeah, I hope Tyler gets well soon as well.
Next up, we have Black Man, kind of gives away who it is just a little bit, versus the final Destination. So, Team A is Aaron Rodgers, Frank Gore, Danny Woodhead, Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, Antonio Gates, Des Bryant, Devontae Adams, the Titans defense, who has already played, and Brandon McManus. What are your thoughts?
That's actually quite a nice lineup there. Their GMs worked really hard over the offseason to put together that lineup. So I know they've been playing well throughout the year, so we'll see who they're playing and who they're up against.
Well, the opposition is Philip Rivers, Doug Martin, Lamar Miller, Jeremy Macklin, Tavon Austin, Greg Olson, Marshawn Lynch, LeGarrette Blunt, the Patriots defense, and Graham Gano. Give me your thoughts.
That team, they have lots of depth at the running back position. As long as they stay injury free, I think they could run a long way. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Team B.
Okay, and so there you have it. Black Man will get the win in that one, according to you. And I would just like to say thank you. Thank you for joining us here on College Game Day Fantasy Football Style. It proves to be an exciting Week 11, and we'll see you back next time. Thanks.